A mock interview with Kayla Crystal for interviewing techniques class at Horry Georgetown Technical College. And we'll go ahead and start. Hi Kayla. I wanted to tell you before we even started the session that we are going to be recording this session. At any time that you feel uncomfortable or you want it to stop, you just tell me and I'll go ahead and stop it. And everything that you say in our meeting is confidential. But if you say anything about self-harm or harm to someone else, I do have to report it to the necessary people. Do you understand?
Yes.
Is there anything that you have a question about?
No.
Okay, you can, do you want to tell me why you're here today?
I'm here. I wanted to talk about, I have a friend, it's been a long-term friend, and we're having a little bit of difficulty in our friendship right now.
How long have you guys been friends?
We've been friends for 23 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
It's a very long time. There's been a couple of times throughout our friendship where we haven't talked for a period of time and things like that. We've always remained friends. But we're at a point in our friendship now where, there's just things that are coming between us and, I'm very hurt by it. It's a very hard time.
Is there been something recently that happened that you want to bring up?
Well, recently, within the last year or so, I've, as you would do as adults, you make new friends, and I've become really close to another friend, and we're very, very close. We're together a lot, but I still maintain my friendship with my friend of 23 years. But my friend of 23 years seems to maybe be a little bit jealous. She doesn't really like my new friend for no other reason than the fact that we're friends. And just recently they got into a very heated argument. There was a lot of names thrown around and a lot of mean things said on Facebook, of all things. And my friend of 23 years sent me a message and said that we couldn't, she didn't want to be my friend anymore because I'm friends with this other person. And that she was ending the friendship. And, when I questioned her on it and, said that's kind of something trivial to end a friendship over, then she threw a bunch of other things from the past back in my face. And I'm very torn because, I love my friend of 23 years and I want to remain her friend. But on the other hand, I really love my new friend too, and I want to keep her as a really close friend, and I want to be friends with her still. And she's not asking me to choose, but my friend of 23 years is asking me to choose. And I don't want to lose her friendship, but if I have to choose, I want to choose the one that doesn't make me choose, but it's still hard to make the decision.
Well, let's rewind just a little bit about this problem that you and your friend of 23 years just had, to where it was the new friend and the old friend, the altercation. Mm-hmm. Can you maybe elaborate more on that one?
It was kind of silly. It was the new friend said something just made a comment on Facebook. It wasn't anything bad. It wasn't even to my older friend. She just made a comment to someone else on Facebook, and my older friend, I guess, decided that at that point, that's where she would let her feelings known, and she just kind of came in and just attacked her, basically, and started, saying a bunch of really mean and nasty things, and, my new friend defended herself, as she should. And my older friend just kept on and on and on and, called her some nasty names and said she didn't care about her feelings and just a bunch of, it was very high school drama. Just a very high school drama. And, we're grown adults and I tried to intervene and stop the argument, and where my new friend understood and stopped.
Right.
And, said, I'm sorry, you're right, I shouldn't have said these things. My older friend, just, no. I'm right. She shouldn't have said this, and she, shouldn't have said that, and you should have stuck up for me, and that sort of thing. Never apologized, never admitted that she was in the wrong when she was the one that initiated the argument.
Now, is this something that's like normal for your old friend? Do you guys usually have an argument over something that would be this, I guess, I want to say petty. Like, is it normal for you two to clash over new friends?
It's been a problem for her in the past. Never me. She has other friends, and I've never had a problem with it.
Right.
You're gonna have more than one friend. You can't just have one friend. It's just not the way it works. It's
right.
Not the way friendships and relationships and things like that work.
A give and take, a back and forth.
But it seems that whenever I get a new friend and I become close with a new friend, she gets very jealous, and she just, I don't like them, and there's always something about this new friend. Well, I don't like them.
Right.
I don't like this about them, and I don't like that about them. But what it boils down to is jealousy. And I have another friend, and we're mutual friends. Me and my older friend are mutual friends with her, and she says she's even noticed it when the three of us have gotten together, that there's been something off, almost like an underlying jealousy from the older friend, because me and the other friend are hanging out, and we're clicking and building stronger bonds and things. It's almost like she wants to keep me all to herself. So yeah, it tends to be pretty typical for her behavior for her.
Well, that's what I'm kind of picking up is for all these years that you guys have been friends, it seems like you have revisited this issue of jealousy or just, anger towards you for wanting to just branch out to other friends. And what is a solution that you have found works in the past problems that you guys had for this exact same reason?
Never really found a solution. It's never really gotten to this point. I normally just kind of keep my friendship with her separated from my other friendships, and I try not to talk about my other friends with her, and I just kind of skirt around the subject of other friends. It almost makes it seem like I don't have any other friends, although I'm sure she knows I do. But it's never really come to this point before.
How does that make you feel that you are having to basically live two lives?
It's hard. It's a struggle. It makes it very difficult, because then, if I want to hang out with one of my other friends, I almost feel like I have to lie to my older friend about what I'm doing and where I'm at, and I have to avoid her to keep her feelings from being hurt or keep her from getting mad. And that's hard, and that's difficult. And then I have to, while I was doing this, and almost kind of make up things of why I couldn't answer the phone or why I couldn't hang out. And that's hard, and it's not fair. And I don't like doing it, and it makes me feel gross to have to, make up, make up stories and skirt around it and avoid her and everything.
It doesn't sound, I can tell just by your facial expressions that it's just not something that you enjoy. And I know that you are wanting to keep this friendship. From what I understand, you are trying, because this is a long friendship that you guys have had. And I know that it's like you want to have your new friend and your old friend at the same time. But what is a goal that you would like to set to maybe fix this issue that you're having right now? Do you have any ideas?
I don't know what I can do to, make it better with her. I feel like at this point it's just something that she's just gonna have to get over, because I'm not going to stop being friends with someone else just because she is throwing a temper tantrum.
Right.
Basically. So, at this point, she just kind of needs to get over it. And if and when, once she gets over it, I would still love to be her friend. I still, care for her, and I want to be in her life, and I want to have a friendship with her. And, once she gets over it, we can be friends, and I'll just, obviously have to still keep the two friendships separate. We'll never be there'll never be anything mutual that we can join in on. But I mean, at this point, like I said, she just needs to kind of get over it and she needs to move past it.
Right.
And I'm hoping that she can. And if she can't, then it's just very heartbreaking that I would lose a friend because she just can't move past her jealousies.
Right. Well, it seems like you guys have discussed this before, and that you have you made sure that your feelings are known about how you don't like to have this argument over and over again over just jealousy, and maybe made a point of letting your feelings be known to her instead of, I know that you're, like you just said, that it's almost like you got to leave a double life. You got to do, keep this separate from her. Did you explain to her that these problems is this is what's happening, that you're having to almost completely keep her outside of your full life?
No, because then I feel like it would just create more of an argument. She's very, what's the word? She tends to blow things out of proportion, and she tends to make something small, take something small and make it into something very big. So I've never really had that conversation with her because I feel like it would just create this huge, even bigger problem than what we already had.
I understand exactly what you mean. It's almost, you're trying to keep yourself away from the drama. And by keeping yourself away from it, you're also keeping yourself away from a full relationship, full friendship with your friend. And, I've always thought that being honest with, friendships or partners or whoever is just the best policy. I was thinking that maybe after our session today that you could sit down and kind of just plan a discussion with your friend. That you could make it to where, this is a goal that I want to have. And the goal, let's just say your goal would be to explain to your friend that this is how it makes you feel. To explain to your friend that you are a human being and that human beings have more than one friend. That it's not just over the new friend that you have now. Because, it's possible that she might think that it's just for this one time and she's not noticing what she's doing.
Right.
So maybe discuss, or not even just prepare yourself to discuss with your older friend that maybe it's her jealousy is not just over one person, that it's with someone taking up the time that you have, someone taking over your time that you could be sharing with her, and just just sitting down and explaining to her that you want to continue your friendship, but that friendship also does have guidelines and it does have rules, and it's unfortunate that this type of thing did happen, but I feel like if you can be open, with yourself, which you are, and you know how it makes you feel, and you're not hiding it from yourself and thinking that it's just going to be okay. You know what's going on. If you maybe just take the time to self-reflect for a little bit and see what you actually want to do. Do you want to continue this relationship with your friend? Do you want to have an argument like this or not have an argument? What is the next step for you after 23 years of being friend with this girl?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea that you first now have gotten it out, and that you seem like you're a little bit more relaxed now than you were when we first started. And I want to know what you think would be a good positive outcome from now being able to open up and explain to her why you guys are getting into this argument.
Well, a good outcome would be that, then she can open up to me, and it would open up the communication lines a little bit better, and it would make it so that I don't have to, kind of hide and sneak around to have other friends. That would be a very good positive outcome.
Well, are you afraid of any outcome that there could be?
I mean, it worries me that we just would end our friendship, but and that would make me sad, but at the same time, if that's, the direction that we're meant to take, then that's the direction we're meant to take, and that's just something that we'll both have to learn to cope with.
Right. Well, I think that after our session today, if you go home and you just take a moment to yourself and really think all of this through and think of, a couple things that you would want to ask her. And maybe, in our next session, we can go over those things after you can go home, write them down, and you can try it on me if you feel like it might be a little bit easier, just to practice to see, if you can do it, and we'll work through it and we'll figure it out, because I don't want you to lose a friendship that you've had for 23 years, but I also want you to be happy.
Right.